Boom! What's up, everybody? Coach Corey here. Together we'll do it better. And today is day 39 of my 100K in 100 days challenge. So getting kind of close to the halfway point. I wanted to do a quick update. Hopefully, I say quick. I don't know how long it's going to be quick, right? But I think the last time I was on here was probably over a week ago, right? So basically, the first 30 days, I really focused on putting myself out there on social media as much as possible, right? Doing lives here on YouTube, on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, doing whatever I can, going into a whole bunch of rooms on Clubhouse, just trying to get people to know who I am and what I'm trying to accomplish, right? Like creating the context first, and then reaching out to those people to see if there's a way to put into place some kind of contract, right? So with that being said, made a lot of great contacts. Got a lot of people, asking me to kind of promote their different offers or whatever, all through affiliate stuff, and I don't mind doing that. That's easy. Basically, it comes out of just doing like an interview with them, like, me interviewing them, putting that on my YouTube channel or my other social media, whatever it is, putting a link to the product or whatever product or service, and then if somebody buys it, I get a commission. Not really going super heavy into that, but like I said, it doesn't take up a lot of time, right? It's really the hardest part about it is just scheduling the time, making sure that both people can be on the meeting at the same time, and then really ultimately like technical issues, right? So last week I did an interview with Pittman Gadini, right? Who's got the what is he got? He's got the Watch Trading Academy, right? And then he has the exotic car hacks that he does, and I helped him promote one of his books. Talked about his new 90-day program that he's got going on. But the problem was when I did it live on Facebook, recorded it, but after the interview, the sound quality was horrible, right? So you can hear me fine. I'm actually pretty loud in the video, and then he is just super quiet, which was not good. That kind of sucks, especially being that he has quite a big following and he wanted to help me promote it and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, it is what it is, right? Ultimately, at the end of the day, all you can do is your best and then keep moving forward. So with that being said, though, I'm still, lining up different people to interview and stuff just to help, because again, when you do interviews, chances are you can get the person to promote your interview, right, with them to their audience. And that's going to be one of the most powerful ways for you to go out there and put yourself out there in front of other people's audiences, right? The other thing is to start getting on podcasts and stuff like that. Now, with this challenge, I haven't really reached out to a whole lot of podcasters yet, because I don't know how interesting it would be in just talking to me about my challenge when I haven't really produced results yet. Now, once the challenge is over, right? Once I accomplish this mission of hitting $100,000 in 100 days, I can guarantee you I'll have a whole bunch of people wanting me on their podcast to go over the whole experience, right? And how it happened and what I did and all that kind of stuff, right? So that would take my brand to a whole new level. Now that's after the 100 days, chances are. That doesn't mean that I still can't reach out to some people, try to get on their podcast and just talk about it. But the other thing with podcasts is like a lot of people, they record the show today and then it doesn't get published for 30, 60, 90, 180 days, whatever it is, because they like to go through and edit it all and do all that kind of stuff. So a lot of times when you do a podcast, which are great, like I said, if you're really trying to grow your brand, you should be trying to get on a podcast every single week, at least 1 week, right? Like try to do more if you can. But that content won't be produced usually until later down the road. So just remember that, right? Unless it's going to be like a live interview on Facebook or wherever, YouTube, TikTok, whatever it might be, Instagram even. That could be instant stuff, but typically people don't really watch live. Most people watch the replay, so even then, that's the beauty of this whole online marketing thing, right? Is you put this content out there, and then people kind of find you down the road. So it's always fill the pipeline up front, and then just wait for it to come out the other end, it's that kind of thing. So with that being said, though, I was able to sit down and interview yesterday one of my mentors, a guy that I used to work for, right? He used to own a big landscape company that I worked for. I worked for him I worked for him, I think 5 or 6 years, right? And then he sold the company, stayed with the company. I stayed with the company for 2 years after that. And then they ended up letting me go. So it is what it is. But anyway, while I was working for him, I was able to kind of build a little bit of a relationship. I actually got married at his house, which was really cool. because he had a big mansion on top of like this hill that overlooked Fort Worth, which was really cool. But because I was able to establish a relationship with him, I reached out to him as one of my contacts as part of this challenge, right? Just pick his brain, and had a really great conversation with him. Got to learn a whole bunch of stuff about him that I didn't know. But also, I got a mentor now that told me that he'll help me out throughout this process, help me establish a business, grow my business. So I did that yesterday. That was really good. And then over the last couple weeks, I started really focusing on the solar side of things. So one of the ways that I'm going to make 100K in 100 days is going to be selling solar, right? So solar panels and stuff like that for houses, and then ultimately commercial needs. The cool thing is, solar right now it's a really hot industry. I'm sure you've probably been hearing about it or seen it, but a lot of advertising stuff going on with solar. But there's all kinds of great rebates, right? So the government's going to pay you back money basically for going solar, which is great. You can get into a system for zero out of pocket. I'm not trying to make this a pitch, but there's a lot of really good things that are going on right now with solar. One of the best things is that as a representative selling solar, you get really good commissions. Now on a house, you get a really good commission, and then if you sell a commercial property, you get like a way bigger commission, right? So I've really been focusing on trying to do commercial stuff. Is my main focus, because if I can land one of those contracts, it's going to get me really close to my goal, probably at least halfway to my goal, probably. If I land two of them, I will probably hit or exceed my goal, right? So if I can land two commercial deals through solar in the next, we got 60 days, 61 days, we'll just call it 60 days, I will more than likely hit the 100K mark just from selling two commercial deals, right? So that's crazy. But commercial also takes longer to set up, and it's harder to get in touch with people. But that's why reaching out to your existing contacts is going to be so vital and so important to helping you grow your business, right? So when I worked for the landscape company, I was the fleet manager. So I had a whole bunch of contacts in the service industry as far as people that sell equipment and stuff like that. So I got to know the business owners pretty well, got to build up good relationships with them, and now I can leverage that, and I can reach out to them and say, hey, I'm into selling solar now. You ever think about it for your house or maybe your business or whatever, and just see what they say. So I got some good hot leads. I'm already proposing. I'm proposing on 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 4 for sure that are getting proposed, right? So 4 different locations getting proposed right now. If I land all 4 of them, I would blow past the 100K mark with no problem, right? Chances of that happening aren't probably very likely, but we'll see what happens. You never know until you try. But that being said, I also got a contact that I haven't been able to get in front of him yet, in front of the owner yet, but he owns, not only does he own a landscape power equipment company, but he owns the building that it's in, and he also owns several buildings beyond that. So that one contract could potentially lead to much bigger and better things down the road as well. So that's what I've been really focusing on, is just going out, and probably the key for me, and this is something I've been learning from Grant Cardone too, is that if you want to sell, right, get in front of the person. Don't just pick up the phone. Don't just do a Zoom meeting. Like, try to meet the person in real time, right? So the best way to do that is to just show up, right? Now, a lot of people don't like getting caught, off guard or whatever, but it's just like door-to-door salesman, right? Like, somebody knocks on your door, you open the door, and now all of a sudden you got to listen to this person try to get their pitch out, right? But when it comes to marketing, we're always taught that pattern interrupt is one of the best ways to sell, right? Like, if you're scrolling on Facebook, you create an ad that's going to stop them. It's going to break the pattern of scrolling, stop them in their tracks, and then pay attention to what it is that you're selling or offering or whatever. The same thing is true with door knocking, right? That's why there's people that make so much money selling stuff door to door, is because, again, you're at home, you're with your kids or your wife or your spouse or whatever, doing whatever you want to do. Next thing you know, you hear a knock on the door. Well, most people answer the door. I know nowadays it's a little bit different. We live in a different world, but for the most part, people are going to answer the door, right? Once they answer the door, though, it's completely up to you to get that relationship kind of established and built right off the bat, build that rapport, so that you can ultimately, hopefully pitch them whatever it is that you're trying to pitch them. So trying different strategies for that is always something that you're going to want to try to focus on. But again, reaching out to your contacts, right? Like, it is so much more powerful to go and get in front of them, right? Because now all of a sudden you're in their space, and they have to take time out for you. If you try to pick up the phone, all they can say, oh, hey, it's not really a good time right now, right? And then, but if you show up, like, they're kind of obligated to talk to you at least for a few minutes. And even if that just leads to setting up your next appointment where you can sit down and talk to them, that is way more powerful than picking up the phone. Hey, now's not a good time, and then they hang up, right? And I say this because this is what actually happened, right? So one of my contacts from before, I reached out to him on the phone, and you could kind of tell right away that he was in the middle of something or whatever. And I was like, oh, is this a bad time? And, oh yeah, it's a bad time. I'll call you back later. Well, never heard from him, right? But everybody that I have driven to their location, I go there and I go inside and I knock on the door and talk to them. They're all willing to talk to me. They make the time if you're in front of them, right? So that's super powerful. The other thing is one of the contracts that I'm looking at right now, trying to establish whatever. I worked at a different landscape company, and I went down there and I just talked to my old boss for a little bit. So he was the shop manager. I was just a mechanic at that company. So I was talking to him, just catching up, how things are going. I've been away from that company for, I don't know, 6 months now, probably. And then what was I going to say? Oh, so I just kind of talked to him, and I was kind of trying to probe him on solar, talking to him, but because he, obviously he was asking, well, what are you up to now and whatever. I told him that I was going into solar, and he's like, yeah, him and time. And I asked him, hey, do you think they would, be interested in doing that here at this location? And he was like, no, I don't think so. They're pretty good, and we got backup generators and whatever. And I was like, oh, that's cool, whatever. So I kind of just let it be. Anyway, got done chatting with him, and then I was going to leave. But before I got in my car, right, or as I was getting in my car, I was like, you know what? I know I've already kind of established a relationship with one of the owners of the company, and I knew that he was there because his car was there and his company truck was there, so I knew he was there at the office. So instead of just taking off, I was like, you know what? You got to take action. You got to do it. If you want something bad enough, you got to do what you got to do, right? So went back in the office, asked if he was there. He was, and then I told, once he knew that it was me, he was like, oh yeah, send him back, right? So even though he was busy, he was actually getting ready to walk out the door. I got to get in front of him, and it literally took me 2 minutes to get him interested enough to give me all like the bills, right? So one of the things with solar is we need to have your electric bill so that we can see how much electricity that you use throughout the year. Typically, we need at least one bill that has the graph on it that shows you kind of what you're using throughout the year. But if we can get a full year's worth of bills, it just makes it so much easier for us to actually make sure that we can build a system that's going to fulfill your needs 100%. So I asked him, briefly, hey, I'm getting into solar. You guys ever think about doing that here? And he's like, well, we never really thought about it, but we're not opposed to it. And I was like, all right, cool. Can I do? Is it cool if I give you a free proposal? All I need is the last 12 months of your electric bills. And he's like, oh yeah, for sure. He's like, send me an email and I'll give it back to you, right? And that's kind of like typically if you're trying to sell, like if you need something, you try to get it from the person right there on the spot. Right? That's one of the most important things. So typically, if I'm going to try to sell solar, I'm saying, hey, do you have the bills here? Can I go take some pictures of them? I don't need them fax or email. I just need to take a picture of it real quick or whatever. But in that situation, because I was, I knew him pretty well, I was like, yeah, sure, I'll just send you an email, right? And then it really comes out into the follow-up at that point. So luckily, I sent him an email saying, hey, it was so nice chatting with you. Thanks for taking a little bit of interest in solar. I just need your last 12 emails, right? Or last 12 bills for your electricity. And then I'll get some proposed for you, and then we'll schedule a time that we can sit down and talk about it. And literally within a couple hours, he sent me, 12 months worth of electric bills, which was awesome. And then, of course, I replied back, hey, thanks so much for the quick response. I really appreciate it, blah, 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 blah. And then he actually ended up sending me, I actually had him, or he sent me, without me asking, he sent me a different location. So his company owns 4 different locations here in Texas. So now I have 2 properties that I'm able to do a proposal for. And again, if he does it for one company or one location, there's a good chance that he's going to do it for the other location. And all of these are going to be individual, contracts kind of thing, which means ultimately, more commission to me, which is awesome. So I got like a free upgrade without even trying. And he sent me all those bills, like I said, as well. So now it's just a matter of getting proposed and then getting the time to sit down in front of him, show him how much he's going to save over the course of the loan if he takes a loan out, or how much he will save over the course of time if they decide to go with it now and pay cash or whatever. So anyway, that's why it's so important to get in front of somebody, right? And to make sure that you take the time to do it, because I could have just walked away after talking to my own boss. I could have just got in my car, left, and said, hey, they don't want solar, right? But I wasn't talking to the right person. I wasn't talking to the person that was making the decisions. So once I got in front of him, though, now all of a sudden I got a whole new light. Yeah, we're not opposed to it. You know, if it's going to save us money, show it to me. Well, now after doing a proposal just for one of their locations, right, if they go solar, ultimately, because of all the rebates and stuff that's going on right now, over the course of 25 years, which is typically what you're going to do. So the way solar works, or the way that we work it, is we establish a system that's going to take care of 100% of your electric needs for the year, right? And then instead of paying the electric company, you'll have a $0 bill from the electric company, but you will produce enough. You will produce enough energy that you won't have to pay for that. But ultimately, you're going to have to either pay for the solar system up front, or you can make payments on it, make it like a loan. And the loans are typically 25 years. So over the course of 25 years, they can save like $800,000 on electricity. And that's just crazy, right? So hopefully I get in front of him, I propose this, and I show him the numbers, because it's all there in a document, in the proposal, that, hey, if you go solar, this is how much you're going to end up saving over the course of 25 years. Now, this is a family-run business. I know that he has kids, so I can use that to my advantage as well. So when I go into that negotiation, I'll say, listen, by the time that your son is ready to take over the company, he's not going to have to pay for electricity at all. And in the meantime, you're going to be able to save almost $1 million over the course of 25 years that you're just throwing away paying to the electric company, right? So it's going to give me a lot of good stuff to leverage. And anyway, that's where we're at right now. Still haven't landed any deals yet. I've been doing some just random stuff, which is funny. Me and my nephew went around and we painted some numbers on curbs to make some money, like house numbers on the curbs, which is kind of funny. And then we're going door to door. I'm kind of teaching them how to do door to door sales as well. Maybe doing some lawn mowing and stuff like that. So did a little bit of that. Took back some coins yesterday, right? So I had a whole bunch of change around the house. And basically, again, the whole point of this is to make $100,000 in 100 days. Some people might say, well, you didn't make it because you just took stuff around your house and you sold it, or you took your change back, you did this, you did that, But ultimately, the goal is $100,000 in 100 days, right? If I go around my house and take all the stuff that I don't need, I don't use, I don't want, and I start selling it, I've been doing that on Marketplace as well. If I sell the stuff around my house that I don't use or want anymore, that can still be applied towards it. But more importantly, if I take that money and then apply it towards an investment or another way of making money, then I don't have to worry, or not that I don't have to worry, but I'll be able to grow that money, which will get me that much closer to $100,000 in the meantime. Other than that, what else? I mean, I've been up to a whole bunch. So I found out, I don't know if I talked about this yet or not, because I do these things every once in a while. But my neighbor that lives right across next door to me, which is actually right behind the camera that I'm looking at, he's a realtor, and I told him about trying to do a wholesale, real estate wholesaling, and he's like, yeah, I'll help you out. And so I got some good footage of him, of us kind of driving around looking at different properties and stuff. So I'll be putting all that into the thing, and then ultimately, if I can do a couple of those, that'll help out as well, right? So he basically said, if I can find the house, get in contact with the owner, and then we can negotiate a contract, I can make about $10,000 from one deal. So I got a whole list of properties. I got a whole bunch of phone numbers, and I'll be doing videos later of me calling these people up, just cold calling them, and seeing if they're interested in selling their house, and if so, trying to line up a time that I can go do a walkthrough with my neighbor so that he can see it and see how much money is going to go into getting it up to scale or up to sell, and then ultimately, if we can negotiate that contract, I'll get paid, about $10,000 per house, and I got 15 houses on my list. So if I could hit one out of the 15, that'd be awesome. If not, I can keep going out there and looking for other properties to do the same thing. until I find one that says, yes, let's do this. And then I'll make my money. So yeah, that's it, man. Crazy times. Not getting unmotivated. I'm still very motivated. I'm still very positive. I'm making 100K in 100 days. Again, almost halfway there. So I really got to start focusing more so on the income producing activities now, and not so much on the social media. I'll still be posting as much as I can when I can from the social media side of things, but in the meantime, really need to focus on that. Oh, another really cool thing. So Blake Newbart, if you don't know who that is, he's in the ClickFunnels community. He's done like $20 million in sales through his funnels. He's creating his own show called The Overnight Entrepreneur, and uh, what he plans on doing with it is going to somebody's house. He's putting in, like, he's letting people put in applications. He's gonna pick one person. He's gonna fly him and his whole team down to, or over to, or up to, or wherever that person is, and they're going to record a show of them going through the whole process of setting up the business, building the funnels, all that kind of stuff, as a show, which is going to be super cool. But he has people applying for it, so I applied for that. Will that happen? I don't know. I know I've already got a little bit of a relationship with Blake. I helped promote his Partner with Blake program. Did pretty well with that. And he knows me, pretty decently. He was supposed to come speak at my mastermind, but just wasn't able to show up. So I don't know if that's going to happen or not. It'd be really cool if it does, because obviously he knows what he does. Like, when it comes to building funnels and launching a product, I've never seen anybody do it better, right? And I'm talking like, maybe not like the Tony Robbins or the Grant Cardones of the world, but even that, I say that he does it as good, at least as good as they do, if not better. Like, he knows how to do a launch, right? Like, he's phenomenal. So anyways, check him out, Blake Newbar, if you don't know him already. And yeah, cross my fingers for that, because if that happens, I don't know when he plans on doing it. It doesn't seem like he'll come kind of during the 100-day challenge, but you never know. But even if he doesn't, if it's afterwards, it's still something that I can say, like, hey, this happened during my 100-day challenge, right? So that's it for now, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe, like, share this with anybody that you want. I'm looking for people that support me, that want to cheer me on, but also anybody out there that is, I don't know, isn't on my side, right? Let's call them, I don't want to call them haters, right? But people that don't believe, right? If share this with people that you think wouldn't believe, because I want to make them believe. That's the whole point of this. I want to be able to inspire people, encourage people, motivate people, to show them that it's possible, that anybody, right? Because I'm doing things I've never done before. I've never done solar before. I've never done a lot of this stuff before. I'm just figuring it out as I go. And that is one of the most important things to being successful when it comes to, to being yourself and being an entrepreneur, is you got to be willing to go out there and try new things, do different things, always think of different things, right? How can I do this? How can I do that? How can I do this? And then going out there, taking action and trying to get it done. And if you do that, you do it enough, you're going to find the things that are going to get you there, right? So I'm almost 100% certain that solar is going to get me to my end result. That doesn't mean that I only focus on solar. I still do these other things that are going to make money, because you got to try them out. So that being said, guys, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe, like, share, and we'll see you guys in another video soon.